All right, so without further ado, let's get started here. Oh, just so my viewers know, I am running this adventure by the book. I'm not improvising anything. It's designed as a meat grinder, and I'm running it as a meat grinder. So anything horrible that happens to these 5 players over the course of the next few hours is not my fault. Okay.
It's a little your fault.
Just a smidge. I mean,
I'm still going to blame you for it.
in our
I'm not
defense,
sure who
we're
else's
paying
fault
him
it
to do
is.
this to us.
That's fair.
One of my Flumph players asked me last night, why are they paying you to do this?
Masochism Tango.
Somewhere under a lost and lonely hill of grim and foreboding aspect lies a labyrinthine crypt. It is filled with terrible traps and not a few strange and ferocious monsters to slay the unwary. It is filled with rich treasures, both precious and magical, but in addition to the aforementioned guardians, there is said to be a demi-lich who still wards his final haunt. Be warned that tales have it that this being, called a Sararak, possesses powers that make him nearly undefeatable. All accounts conclude that it is quite unlikely any explorers will ever find the chamber where the demi-lich lingers, for the passages and rooms of the tomb are fraught with traps, poison gases, and magical protections. Furthermore, the demi-lich has so well hidden his lair that even those who avoid the pitfalls will not be likely to locate their true goal. Only large and well-prepared parties of the bravest and strongest should even consider the attempts, and if such a group does locate the tomb, they must be prepared to fail. Any expedition must have magical protections and weapons, and must be equipped with every sort of device possible to ensure survival. So the 5 of you have arrived at the site of what you know to be the demi-lich Aserarak, which is the most difficult to pronounce name in the D&D canon, I think. There's always more R's in that name than you first suspect. You arrive at the site of the demi-lich's last haunt. Before you is a low, flat-topped hill, about 200 yards wide, 300 yards long, and about 60 feet high. Only ugly weeds, thorns, and briars grow upon the steep sides and the bald top of the mound. And there are black rocks scattered across the bald top as well. And this is where we're going to start. You all have mounted this hill.
All right, so I must have missed the memo. Did you all remember to bring your magical weapons and armor? I have a dagger.
I have a charming personality.
I have a short sword.
It is the very shortest.
What I'm worried about is I do not see a 10-foot pole on my equipment list. I hope somebody brought a 10-foot pole. Otherwise, we're boned.
I have. That's why I have the mage hand. I use it
So
to
I
poke
think someone
things.
just volunteered to approach, is what I heard.
Fine. So, is there anything? What's the most obvious thing about this hill that we're standing on besides the black stones? Is there anything? Any obvious entrance?
There is not. There doesn't seem to be anything obvious about this hill whatsoever.
Okay. Well, can I look around and see? Let me look at my.
Where are you looking?
I guess I'll go to the middle of the hill and just kind of work my way out in a circular pattern.
Okay. Standing in the middle of the hill, you can see pretty much the whole mound from where you're standing. You've got the black, they look like obsidian rocks jutting up out of the mound around you. The only foliage you see are the weeds, thorns, and briars. There's not a tree within eyeshot of this area.
So, how many? So these are like spires sticking up out of the ground. They're not like loose rocks.
Do you try to unearth one?
Sure. Well, let's try unearthing the nearest.
Hold on that for a moment. I'm a dwarf. Does my stone cutting tell me anything particular about these rocks or this formation at all? Is there anything unusual or unnatural about it?
Unusual or unnatural? No. To your eyes, they look like probably obsidian. Unusual. You normally wouldn't see obsidian jutting up out of the ground like this. Not in this kind of formation. You're not in a particularly mountainous area.
Is it in a formation? Is it like in a noticeable pattern?
To your eyes, no.
Okay. Well, I guess the only thing left is to poke it. So I'm going to go and try and move one of the rocks. How big are these rocks? Like, how tall are they? Are they just...
If they're just sitting on the dirt, and two of you gnomes got together and put your shoulder into it, you might be able to bowl one over.
Okay.
So if we both use mage hand, would it be enough to move one of them?
Probably not.
Mage hand specifically is not able to exert a whole lot of force.
How about we get one of the tall people to push?
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
You say people. Do we have more than one? We've got a drow. Is anyone else here tall?
That sounds fair.
Yeah. Aren't drow like superior creatures?
We're in the spirit of companionship and cooperation, I'm going to allow that.
So the drow approaches one of the black rocks.
I attempt to push the rock.
And you put your shoulder into it, and you push with all your might, and it doesn't budge, which tells you that this rock is not just sitting on the ground. It actually is sunk down into the earth.
I knew I should have brought a pickaxe.
Do we just want to take time to do an investigation and see if we can find anything unusual or any sort of hole or depression or anything?
Where are you investigating?
Well, I mean, is there anything in particular that makes any portion of this mound more noteworthy than another?
The mound is about 200 yards wide, 300 yards long. You guys are up on top of it with the black rocks. And it's about 60 feet high, but you didn't have to scale up a cliff to get here. I mean, you kind of just walked up the sloped surface approaching the hill. So just tell me where you're investigating. You've got the sides.
Well, I would think the base then, circle the base. That seems to me most likely to have an entrance of some sort.
Circle.
Yeah.
Base.
Is a hill a circle, or is it more of an ellipse kind of shape? More of an oval.
Standing on top of the hill, well, it's an ovular shape because it's wider than it is long. But standing at the hill, there's the little slope that you came up from the south. Off to the north, it looks like a sheer drop. The hill goes straight down. And then off to the sides, to the east and the west, are similar drops that look like they can be climbed. So the only safe way to get up on top of the hill is to kind of walk up the slope from the south, which is what you guys did. So if you want to do an investigation around the perimeter of the mound, what direction are you going in? Around to the east or around to the west?
Well, I mean, I think I want to go safely back down the slope to the base, and then I guess sort of navigate around it clockwise.
I'll go the opposite direction. That way we can cover it faster.
All right, so we are 8 minutes in, and we're already splitting the party.
I didn't.
Wonderful.
All right.
Oh, actually,
Put a coin in the jar.
if you'll bear with me one moment.
What is going a couple of 100 feet away from your party considered splitting the party?
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
Movement speed.
So, I don't like that sound.
God.
We're
I don't
wise
like
to your
that sound at
horseshit.
all.
All right, now we're playing some D&D. Okay.
Oh boy.
Circling around the east and west sides, it looks pretty similar as you guys split up and circle around, intending to meet back around the north face. The east and west sides, it's not a sheer cliff, but it's not a nice grade either. When you come around to the north, you realize that there's kind of a stone overhang from the top of the hill over the side, the north face, and most of the bottom of it looks like brambleweed. Overgrown weeds and foliage down at the level you're walking. Remember, I'm talking a 60-foot high hill here. Most of the middle of it looks like it's made of loosely packed sand or gravel, running the entire north face of the hill. But nothing terrible happens to you as you circle around.
All right. Maybe this is just me, and my character probably knows better than I do. But that implies to me that this isn't a particularly structurally safe hill. The whole underside of it's made of loose packed sand and gravel.
Well, just this north side of it.
So there's, you said bramble bushes at the base of this drop, the sheer drop?
Yeah, just kind of some mean foliage. Like, if you were to go straight up to the hill from the north, you'd have to be careful about where you step or risk getting entangled. You probably wouldn't take damage, but it wouldn't be pleasant either.
Okay. I guess since there's nothing obvious on the face of the drop, right? That we can see from where we're standing.
No, in fact, looking up to the top of the hill, you see just this little stone overhang that makes it kind of difficult to climb down from the top. Underneath that, the whole side of the face looks like this loosely packed sand and gravel forming up the wall of the north face.
Well, since I don't have anything else left to search, I guess start checking the brambles for any, like, a concealed entrance.
Does anyone in this group know detect magic?
Yes, actually, I do. No,
That might help
well, I
draw
can-
something to our
I
attention.
don't have
Maybe.
it prepared.
I'm casting Detect Magic.
Yeah, why not? Let's cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Now, Detect Magic is a ritual spell. What that means, you could either cast it right away using a level 1 spell slot, or you can take 10 minutes, cast it as a ritual, and not have to use up any slots.
Let me do the ritual.
Okay. So during that 10 minutes, what are the other 4 of you doing? Treble's down here searching through the brambles. What is Sirutka doing?
Sirutka's probably going to help look through the brambles, because I'm betting near the base of this north face is where an entrance is going to be.
Okay. What about Jordiebear?
I got this. Is going to supervise them all getting stabbed by brambles.
What about Lord Enigma?
I want to try to use one of my 10 torches to set the brambles on fire.
Oh God!
Burn them?
Okay, maybe let me get out
Notes in there.
Are you doing this where they're currently searching, or are you going to do it from the other side?
The other side, I think.
And you light a torch, and there hasn't been any rain in this vicinity for a long time, so the dried brambles catch fire and start to burn away from that side. You guys searching through the brambles, I mean, you get bramble patches stuck all over your hands and arms, but you don't find any entrances. And it becomes apparent very, very quickly that if you continue to search going down, eventually the fire will catch up with you.
I quickly escape the brambles and prestidigitate myself back into ship-shop shape.
Okay?
Yeah, I'll do something similar.
And you finish your Detect Magic ritual, and there is nothing magical in the vicinity. So what's next?
The question I had with the rock formation is, are they packed together to where you couldn't get amongst the rocks or search in there, or is it like paths in between them?
Some of them were tightly close together, others were very far apart. There didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it standing on top of the hill.
Wait a second. I'm a gnome. Are there any smart... what is it? Do gnomes have speak with woodland critters in this edition?
If it's on your character sheet, you have it.
Yeah, that's me talking aloud while I'm checking.
Who else has an idea?
I mean, if we really want to topple one of these rocks for shits and giggles, I can enlarge myself to give myself advantage on strength checks.
Well, I mean, we're here. We might as well break something, I guess.
Toppling a rock over is probably not going to be possible regardless of your strength. If you wanted to work for a good period of time, you could probably excavate one by clearing away the dirt, digging it away, and then finding a way to lift it up out of the hole.
That sounds like a lot of work. Surely that's not how we're supposed to get into this place. We're sure there's a tomb here, right? Like we followed the correct map. This is the spot.
This is the spot.
Okay. Sirutka got us lost.
Listen. The fox clearly thought he knew which was the right way.
Could we do any kind of like Arcana or history check? Like, have any of us heard anything about how to get into this place?
Everything that you've heard about this place is what I read at the beginning. It's a tomb of horrors filled with vast riches and a demolich called Acerarak. Other than that, the mysteries of the tomb are only laid bare once you get inside. If you get inside.
I mean, if we're going to excavate a rock, I'd just as soon try and dig into the north face and see how far we get.
That's the loose part of the ground, right? In the north face.
Yeah, it's loose sand and gravel all along the north face of the wall. So where are you going to dig into the gravel from?
Well, has the fire cleared a space yet of any kind?
After the 10 minutes or so that it took for Bob to cast Detect Magic, the fire is of no more danger.
All right, well, so wherever the brambles are clear, it seems like a good place I need to start. Does anyone have a shovel? And if not, do any of these packs contain a shovel?
Can I wish I had like the 10-foot pole from the. Can I just say I have a 10-foot pole?
Sure, you can say anything reasonable. I'll let you just put on your character sheet as it becomes a pole,
Okay.
a shovel, a trowel.
Okay. Before you start digging into that, I'm assuming you're going to start digging into the side of that hill.
Yeah.
Before you do that, I'm going to poke it and make sure, see how loose it is. I mean, you said it's very sandy and
Yeah.
seems to be. So I don't want him to get buried alive. So let me see if I can't poke it and knock some of the dirt loose.
For what it's worth, I don't have to breathe, but I thank you for your consent.
I want everybody to think of this little tiny gnome with a pole 3 times longer than he is. And yeah, going along. Now, where are you starting at? The east side or the west side? Or
In the middle.
So in the middle, you start poking it. Everywhere you poke, some sand and loose gravel falls away. With persistent poking, if there's an entrance here, you'd be able to find it by excavating.
Okay.
But there's a lot of wall here.
How tightly packed is it? If I jam the pole in really good, how far do you think it would go down in?
You can get it in a few inches, but with persistent poking, if all 5 of you work together excavating a spot, you'd be able to clear an entrance in a couple of minutes.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I mean, unless anyone's got any better ideas.
Worth a try.
While you're digging with the shovel, I'm going to be digging with the 10-foot pole 10 feet away, so I don't get buried.
Okay.
All right. Well, some of us are effectively excavating the hill, while apparently some of us are poking it with a stick.
Okay.
I'm
Is
helping.
anybody not helping with the excavation?
I don't think I have.
I'm going to try to find, because I did check, I can speak with small beasts.
Okay.
I'm going to check to see if there's a burrowing animal around this vicinity.
A burrowing animal. Very notably, during your march here, you saw very little wildlife in the 10 miles or so surrounding the tomb.
Which makes sense.
Do you have any ability to summon animals?
I do not. Do I look like a druid?
I don't know. You might. We haven't described our character.
But no, the only burrowing animals you see in the vicinity are 3 gnomes and a dwergar.
Well then.
The drow, I'm assuming, are too haughty to burrow.
Would think so. But
You guys excavating in the middle of the northern face. After a good 10-15 minutes of work, a large quantity of gravel and dirt falls away, revealing a hole in the side of the wall. It's a small hole, which means anything bigger than a gnome would have to squeeze in. With additional work, you could make it wider. But right now, it's dark beyond. I assume you all have dark vision. We got a bunch of gnomes and stuff here.
Yeah, I've got dark vision.
Okay.
Well,
So what you've done is you've made a hole in the side of this wall. It's about 15-20 feet up off the ground. but it should be easy enough to climb and squeezle your way in. Beyond, you only see just darkness.
Okay. Well,
Not it.
I'll go. I climb up to the hole and see what I can see. Like, how far down can I see?
This is when I have to load your dice back in. Oh, we don't need these. Alright, so go ahead and I'm going to lock all these down so you guys can't move the bags around. And here is your official Tomb of Horrors map. Is it horrible?
Yeah,
All these black squares frighten me. Frighten and confuse.
So climbing up the wall and peering into the hole. Do you have any source of light, or are you just relying on your dark vision?
Right now, just the dark vision.
Okay. Looking into the hallway, you see paintings adorning the sides of the wall. Kind of difficult to make out what they are. Even with dark vision in this kind of light, you can't discern color. You can, however, notice that on the floor, after you kind of worm your way in... Here, let me load in some chessmen for you.
I already got myself, well, guess a chess dude will be better.
Well, Parcheesi dude, not actually a chess dude. So, Treble, go ahead and pick a color. Alright. Each of these squares is 10 feet, so you're actually a little too big for one of these squares. These are not 5-foot squares. But peering into the hole, or are you actually climbing into the hole?
Well, I was under the impression that I was, like, kind of standing in the entrance. You said it was short. I was small enough to stand in the hole, or am I having to crouch?
No, you're a small creature. No, you don't have to squeezle to get into this hole.
So
What you notice looking at the floor is a colorful mosaic of stone. Not sure what color it is, but you can tell it's a different coloration to the surrounding stone. Like, the surrounding stone is a standard, like, gray slate. But these are actually mosaic tiles set into the ground, winding its way down the corridor. And you can see a good 50 or 60 feet down this corridor.
okay,
The hallway is about 20 feet tall. So about 20 feet above you, looking up, you can see the ceiling. And again, difficult to tell what the scenes on the walls show without some form of light.
I guess I'll just light a torch.
Hit a torch. The rest of you, standing at the base of the hill, watch as the gnome lights up a torch. Then you see his face light up with wonder as you're looking at the walls of the tomb. And they're painted with bright, brilliant colors to be seen everywhere. They look just as brilliant as if they had been painted yesterday. The mosaic tiles on the ground form a red trail, snaking back and forth. The scenes show fields with grazing animals, a copse with several wolves in the background, workers of various races, and strange human-animal mixtures, pigmen and ape-men and dog-men going about various tasks. Some of the frescoes show rooms of some building, a library filled with many books and scrolls, the door of a torture chamber, a wizard's workroom. There are chairs, windows, boxes, bales, doors, chests, birds, bats, spiders, and all manner of things shown on the walls.
Well,
Is it safe to enter?
One way to find out.
before you come in, I'm going to take my 10-foot pole out and I'm going to poke the floor as far as I can. Just kind of test the floor, you know?
Okay. Seems solid. Just because I know it's going to come up throughout the tomb, I'm going to go over the limitations of dark vision in 5e. You can see in darkness, even pitch darkness, but without a light source, you can't discern color. So seeing details on anything is going to be tricky without a light source. But yeah, you poke the floor with your stick, and it's
Okay.
rock solid. You poke the tile, doesn't give way when you jab it.
All right. Well, I will advance to the edge of the point where I poke to give them room to come in, instead of standing in the way like a derp.
So everybody, go ahead and actually just grab the color that corresponds to your name up there. That'll be easier for me.
And viewers, presumably.
Now, this isn't going to be like when I run a Flumph map where this is your actual position in the map. We're just using this to give you guys a basic idea of the layout of the map. Because, again, your pieces are way too big for these squares. These are each 10-foot squares. Fortunately, there's not a lot of combat in the Tomb of Horrors.
Yay.
The Drow and the Dwergar, you are medium-sized creatures. It means you're going to have to squeeze to get through this hole. All that means is you have to kind of shoulder your way in.
This boy don't squeeze. I'm going to cast enlarge/shrink self or whatever. I'm going to shrink a size class and stride on it.
Just how long does that shrinkage last?
Sec, let me check.
Depends whether it's cold outside.
Right, so there you are with your 10-foot pole. So you've got the frescoes along the walls showing all manner of things. You've got the red mosaic on the floor. And you can only see about 50 or 60 feet ahead of you, and it looks like the path goes further than that.
It only lasts for a minute with concentration.
Okay.
So, are we all agreed that we want to follow the box factory tour line here, or because why else would this be drawn to?
Does anybody have a better alternative?
Well, follow it.
Okay, who's going first?
I politely step to the side to let somebody else go first.
I mean, the Drow has already made it clear he's superior, so I think he should lead the way.
Okay, nice step forward.
Okay, and you're following the red line?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know.
And you get to this point, and Treble, you've got the lit torch, right? You're standing just behind him.
Yeah.
Where you're standing right now, Enigma, you see the most outstanding feature in this part of the hallway is literally outstanding. There are two jackal-headed human figures painted so as to appear to be holding a real bronze chest that actually protrudes out from the wall. That's right in front of you to your right-hand side there, where you see this suspicious number 4.
Right. I want to examine it a bit further. Do I notice anything suspicious about this?
Is there anything not suspicious about the Tomb of Horrors?
I mean,
examining the box protruding from the wall. First of all, it doesn't look like it'll move. It looks like it's actually part of the wall. Like it would take some serious excavation to move it out. But you note that it's hinged on the bottom, so the lid of the box would swing down if a catch on the top of it is pressed. It wouldn't open over the top like a pirate treasure chest. It opens from the front.
Is there a keyhole or something to it, or is it just a button?
You don't know. You're not standing there.
Oh. Well, that would be a good reason not to know. I guess I'll walk up beside him and bring the torch closer so we can inspect it a little more.
Staying on the red line or leaving the red line?
Well, I'm going to next to him, staying on the red line, I guess.
Holding the torch there and examining the catch a little closer. Enigma, are you my illusionist? I'm already mixed up here. No.
I'm the illusionist.
Rogue. Swashbuckler.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Swashbuckler's rogue. Oh, I don't know that because it's not in the standard PHB. I don't know anything about Swashbuckler. But no, as a rogue, examining it, and so Treble does too, and he comes up beside you, and he gets the light in close. Looking at the catch, you have to push this catch down and then open the box. You can see a poison needle trap that sticks out a good 3 inches from the wall, but it's pretty well hidden. If you didn't have a bright light source, you're not sure you would have caught it in time. A good way to avoid this needle if you were to open the trap is just use the pommel of a dagger or something to push the catch. That way the needle would miss you. Or you could use your thieves' tools to try to take the trap apart.
Can I back up and open the catch with my mage hand?
You can certainly try. Are you both backing up or just Treble?
I'm backing. I'm definitely backing up.
Okay. And
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wait, can I move? Like,
I swing. I summon my mage hand in, very gingerly open the catch.
Okay. And you hear the soft shooting sound as this dart fires from the catch, going straight through your mage hand and clinking off the wall on the other side. Just looking inside of it, after it falls open, just appears to be an empty cavity in the wall, empty space.
well then.
Like, I guess that was looted before.
I mean, you think someone bothered to reset it? That seems unlikely to me.
Could trigger trap later on.
I fully suspect that was more just a trap to start with.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed so far. I heard this place had teeth.
Shut your
Well,
mouth.
let's see here, folks.
Well, I guess I take my pole out and poke the inside of the chest.
Poking the inside of the chest, you feel something in the bottom of the chest. And tapping it from either side, it doesn't move. It feels like it's a feature of the chest. It's not like an object inside the space. But you can't see it from where you are.
I'm not sticking my hand in there. You can just forget that.
Yeah.
Has anyone looked underneath it yet?
Yeah, is the chest movable?
No, the chest is, I mean, it could be with a lot of work and the right tools, but it's set back into the wall and it doesn't budge when you put your hands on it.
So what you're saying is it feels like the bottom can come out of the chest?
No part of the chest feels like it'll come away from the wall. You'd have to come at this wall with hammers and pickaxes and several hours of hard work.
I'm trying to understand what you said. Felt like what I felt when I poked it with a stick is all.
What you've done is you poked the stick inside of the chest, and it feels like in the bottom of it, into a space that you can't see just looking in, you tapped against something protruding from the bottom of the chest.
How high on the wall is it? Is it like on the floor or is it up?
Only 3-4 feet up. So,
Right,
you,
so has anyone felt underneath, like corresponding to that space? That seems like a thing to do.
Or it could be a false bottom.
I think our superior Dro should stick his hand in there and see and show us how it's done.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just stick my hand in there and see what I can find.
and reaching in, you feel what Treble was tapping with his 10-foot pole, and it feels like a lever in the bottom of the chest, a mechanism. It's not something you can take out of the chest.
I pull the lever.
You
Oh,
pull the
God.
lever, okay,
Kronk.
and
Kronk. Oh no, that's a terrifying noise.
the floor opens up underneath you as soon as you
Oh,
pull
well.
the lever.
To the treasure room?
Can I spread my hands out quickly before I fall down the hole completely, or is the
Well-
hole just too big?
Well, it's a 10-foot by 10-foot hole that encompasses this whole tile.
Can I reach him with
Okay.
my 10-foot pole if I...
Well,
Can I-
let's apply some falling damage and such first. Oh, those are the wrong kind of dice. I almost gave you too much damage. Alright, take 15 points of bludgeoning damage.
Hey,
Falling into the hole. Plus 19 points of piercing damage from the spikes at the bottom.
ow.
I also need you to make a Constitution saving throw after you've applied your damage. So take a d20 and roll it. Your saving throws are on the top right of your sheet underneath proficiency bonus. So roll a d20 and whatever it says for con.
Hold on a sec.
First saving throw of the night, folks.
It won't be the last.
Oh,
We're
no.
clear. This is now a superior 10-foot hole.
6.
A 6. All right, so you took the falling damage. You took the piercing damage. Also need you to take 28 points of poison damage from the poison on the spikes.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm dead either way, but
So you reach in with pull the lever, and the floor opens up out from under you. You fall 30 feet into a spiked pit. Treble, well, how many hit points do you have left after that little fun excursion?
It wasn't Treble.
No, it was Enigma, but Treble, you're standing there, so you get to see it. Notably not on the red line anymore.
Oh, God.
exactly. Let me just. I took 20 damage from the poison.
28 from the poison, I believe it was.
Oh, hold on a sec.
Did I fall as well?
No, you did not.
Okay.
You left the red line, and you're now standing over here behind him.
Well, I'm green.
Oh, you're green. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can still see pretty well.
Yeah.
You got the torch right there.
I believe that puts me down to 7,
Down to 7 hit points. So,
if I did my math right.
Treble and Sirutka, looking down into the pit, you see Enigma at the bottom of this 30-foot drop, looking pretty severely injured, having played with the first trap in the dungeon.
Enigma, you dead, Mon?
Not yet.
I would like to
Yeah.
congratulate all of you on successfully avoiding the first death trap of the dungeon.
I lower some rope. Will you be able to tie yourself up and get back up here?
I can try.
Yeah, you can haul them back out pretty easy.
Oh, boy.
But this part of the floor is now effectively gone.
So, am I correct in thinking we need to now either make a 10-foot leap or walk off of the box tour line?
That is correct. Staying on the red line did not seem to avoid this pit. Enigma.
Yes?
What is your passive perception?
Hold on.
That's going to be on your character sheets. Underneath all your skills and stuff, there's a box that has your passive perception in it.
Hold on. Try to locate all this.
Looks like it's 19. You see it under your skill list where it says passive perception?
Oh, hold on. I'm spot completely.
They haul you out of the hole and get you back on solid ground. And as you're sitting there with your 7 hit points, your body coursing with Tomb of Horrors brand official poison, you are pretty sure that this area here constitutes another pitfall trap. Whether or not similar to the one you fell in, you won't know unless you open it up. Being on the edge of it, you're pretty sure that will fall away underneath you.
Okay. I let everybody else know about this.
Okay.
About my feelings towards that anyway.
And what's next?
Well, I guess since we now know that the floor is not safe, we should, if we're going to keep going... Is there any obvious recesses or anything in the hole that he fell down, or is it just straight down?
It's just a straight 30-foot drop into a scary, spike-filled hell.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was down there. I think I can attest to that.
Do we just want to knock open this next hole, A, so we don't forget that it's there, and B, in case there's anything in there of interest?
You want to try and knock it open, go for it. Try. I'll step aside and give you the space you need. Go right ahead.
Alright, fuck it, fine.
Make a strength check, just straight strength. So D20 plus your strength mod.
That's a flat 7.
A flat 7. You can feel the give on the floor after Enigma points it out, but with 7's not going to be enough force to open it up all the way.
What if I help him?
Then he would get to roll that strength check at advantage. That means you roll 2d20s and keep the higher number.
Doing that?
Yeah, I'm gonna come over and help him push.
Just to be clear, we're not fucking like stamping our foot on it or anything here, right? We're doing this intelligently.
Yes.
What I'm picturing is Treble standing on top of the tile doing jumping jacks.
Right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay, go ahead and make that check.
Natural 1. Nah.
Did you roll at advantage?
Yeah, I did. Or that. Whoa, I rolled a second die. I presume the first one still counts.
No, go ahead
That
and
was natural.
because you're trying it a second time with his help.
Nah, 5.
And the two of you working together, you're just not able to open it up.
Okay.
I say let sleeping traps lie, just
Yeah,
in case there's somebody
tried.
living underneath that trap.
So here's the question. If
Yeah.
we were able to move it and gave away, would we presumably be able to use the 10-foot pole and probe the floor in front of us to be able to check for any other traps?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Now I'm worried. But I guess who's the strongest one among us? Because I have like I'm not particularly very strong, like strength wise.
I doubt any of us are. We've got a wizard, a warlock, and 3 rogues. I'm probably the strongest person here.
The strongest character
Yeah.
is Jordiebear with an 11 strength.
Now, notably, I could enlarge myself to give myself advantage, but I already blew that for this long rest on a stupid joke. So,
Well, that's the best way to use a spell.
Right.
So, I
Poking-
guess.
Tapping the ground ahead of you, you'll be able to find any more pit traps, assuming that they're the same make. But you won't be able to open them without a concentrated effort.
Well, okay. Within the 5 squares
Mhm.
around the pit trap, we've already found not the one that was sprung, but the one that's still closed, but we know it's there.
Pick up your little pawn and show me where you're walking.
And like I want to, I'm assuming like this one and this they're standing here and like nothing untoward has happened to them yet.
Nothing bad has happened to anybody except Enigma so far.
So when I get here, I'm gonna start just kind of like tapping, like just probing the ground with my pole.
Seems solid.
Yeah. And then I guess I'll follow the red line
Okay.
and continue on until either I die a horrible death or we get through the cave.
Yeah, keep going.
so we're in a cave with 3 gnomes and a dwarf following a line. I assume we're singing a merry tune.
And right here, Treble. Just off to the side of the line here, down the center of the room, another square of the floor looks like it gives way.
So this hallway is garbage.
Is okay.
Looking ahead, the red mosaic path continues to snake ahead, and when it gets towards the back end of the hallway, looks like it splits into 2 different directions.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna continue doing what I've been doing.
I presume you called out that to us, did you? Let us know.
Yes.
You guys
do
can
I-
assume anything marked on the map or anything I've said is common knowledge amongst the group.
Yeah, I follow him about 10 feet back.
Okay.
Should we do something for the Dro that almost died? Like, do we have any bandages or anything like that?
I mean, we could
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm only in pain.
Like the poison damage. That's not something that is going to like slowly kill him, is it?
No, he took the damage once, and that was that. Stop
Okay.
there. Poking the ground in front of you, directly over the red line, you find another trap, part of the floor that gives way.
Well, okay then. We're gonna go around that.
Okay.
We're gonna.
I'm gonna have a sternly worded letter for whoever organized this tour.
Your halls are garbage, and you have too many R's in your name.
It's a Minesweeper LARP. Come on, guys, it's great.
Leave it on Yelp. Stop there. And once again, right across where this line is.
This line is garbage.
Yeah.
Now standing
This is a
there.
liar.
I can get rid of this. Yeah. And this. Standing where you are now, you can see some strange features at the end of the hallway. By the way, Treble, I now own 2 fidget spinners, just so you know.
Hooray!
He's playing with them as we speak.
Over here, looking off to your left at the end of the hallway, one section of the red mosaic path leads directly into it, off to the side there. The stone archway is filled with a veil of thick vapors that are rolling out slightly onto the floor in front of the doorway. The stones on either side of the base, and then the keystone, protrudes slightly from the stones around them. So at the base of the doorway, 2 stones come out, one on the left side, one on the right side. The keystone is the one about 10 feet off the ground, directly in the middle of this archway, all protruding slightly from the archway itself. And then directly in front of you is a relief sculpture of a devil face formed of the same mosaic tiles as you've been following on the floor. The face has a huge O of a mouth, and the inside of the space is dead black. You're standing a good 30 feet away from it, but reaching your torch out, you cannot even see shadows flickering inside of the demon's O face.
So is it something like this Compass Rose picture here, just below us?
Yeah, this is a pretty good idea of what that might look like.
It's probably what it is, actually. So you're talking about the room here to the left, right?
Yeah, this is where you see the archway with the veil of kind of vapors coming out of it. This is where you see my O-face man here.
Can I get to the face without touching the vapor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm going to finish scouting the rest of the hall, looking for holes. That's our first worry is, the floor coming out underneath us.
Okay.
Well, I also want to say, having played a video game, I'm going to make sure not to be in direct line drawn from that mouth down the hallway, and I'm going to advise everyone else to do the same.
Okay. And that's easy enough, because this demon structure, remember, that's a 20-foot wall at the end of that hallway. The demon structure only takes up maybe a couple feet in the center of it, so it's easy to get off to the side of it. Okay. All right, Treble, go ahead and march yourself forward there. And coming up to this space here, the archway off to your left, as you approach it, as you move within touching distance of the archway, the left-hand base stone begins to glow yellow. The right-hand base stone begins to glow orange. And the keystone up above you begins to glow blue, just as you start passing in front of the archway.
I very carefully am just going to keep doing what I was doing and step away from the door. When I get up here, I want to get to the side of the face, like where you said it was easy to get to, either side there. And I want to examine it with my stick. I want to poke it.
When you poke it, it's solid. It's made out of the same kind of glassy tiles that make up the red snaky path on the ground.
Do you poke into the mouth part?
Yeah, I mean,
or
you've got a stick in a hole.
Itself?
Can I poke into the mouth part with my 10-foot pole without getting directly?
No. You got to be standing in front of it to do that.
So, Mr. Superior Dro, do you want to come over here and take this pole? You're taller than me.
I'm not sure we should make the 7 HP guy or guinea pig for them all.
Well, you're already almost used up. Does this count as player killing?
You're almost dead. You're not here long for the squirrel.
40 minutes into the adventure.
I'm going to approach
the backstabbing has started. Okay.
Do these glow the same color when I get near?
They do. Did you were you the one that had detect magic up? No, that was Bob, wasn't it?
Yeah, I have to take my.
Okay. It's probably not still up at this point. It only lasts, I think, 10 minutes.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can't see anything in the archway off to your left, but those 3 stones do begin to glow.
All right. Do any of the stones comprising the archway or the face? Do I see any writing of any sort?
You do not.
Now I could perform the ritual again, presumably within range of both the doorway and the statue.
Yeah, you can do that ritual as often as you want. It just takes 10 minutes every time you do it.
Well, I guess I'll get to the side out of the front of the demon statue enough where I can be in range for both, and I'll do detect magic.
Okay. Is anybody else doing anything during that 10 minutes while he's performing the ritual?
Why don't we go back the way we came and like check the walls for any like side passages or anything like that?
Okay, so I'll go down the list here. Sirutka, what are you doing in this hallway while he's putting the magic ritual? You got walls you can check, all these frescoes, the floor, the red snaky thing on the floor. There's the archway about 20 feet above you, and then the dirt entrance that you came in, or you've got a bunch of unopened pit traps if you need options.
I think I'm going to check the southern wall for any secret doors or switches or whatnot.
So, I mean, the southern wall is going to be the demon face with the O face.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading this. This way is north.
Yeah, this way is north, so the southern wall would be the demon here.
Then I can't apparently do. All right, that's embarrassing. I'm going to check the western wall.
Okay.
I'll assist him with checking the western wall.
Who's that?
Enigma.
Okay, and what's Treble and jordiebear doing?
Well, Treble, I guess I'm going to try and pop this one right here.
Yeah, that was going to be my plan as well. If we've got 10 minutes, I'm going to pop as many of these open as we can.
Okay. Which you has the higher strength score?
I'm saying on an 11.
I have an 8.
Okay, so yeah, you can go ahead and roll add advantage because you're being assisted.
Just the hits keep on coming. 3 and 5.
Okay.
You know there are other numbers on the dice, right?
Aww.
How'd that?
Pull some different dice out of the bag.
So you guys checking the wall. How are you checking the wall? Like, what tools are you using? Are you examining a particular place?
If they want, they can borrow my pole.
That sounds like a brilliant idea. I'm going to borrow the pole and kind of tap up against it.
Okay.
Or, against the wall, about my shoulder level, so that's about 2 feet off the ground.
You come across an area of wall that looks like a painted-on door. It looks like the door to a torture chamber. Like a heavy wooden crossbar keeping it closed. Iron bars with just blackness beyond. Rust covering areas of the door. It looks like a door. I mean, it's just painted on, though. But when you go and you tap certain areas, it doesn't feel like stone. Parts of it chip away. It feels like plaster. This would be about right next to the pit here. You guys go ahead and make another check on this pit.
All right.
There we go. 19.
19. So you're able to go ahead and push down on it. It takes a considerable amount of weight to open up one of these pit traps. You use that much force, pivot it downwards, but you're going to have to chalk it open with something unless you want it to slam back shut. It feels like this one is spring-loaded, unlike the one that Enigma fell into earlier.
Well, can we see into it? Like, for the brief time it's open, I just more want to know if it's the same, like, poison spikes down there or not.
You can stand there and hold it open if you want to just look down there.
Okay, that's what I'd like.
Okay, so I'll wave my torch down there inside so we can see.
And, yeah, 30-foot deep pit. Has mean-looking spikes in the bottom. And bear with me just 1 second. Yeah, that's what you see. It just looks like a terrible place to fall down into.
All right. Well, I'm going to look around. If no one objects, I'm just going to let it slam back closed. I've had my fill.
Nope, I don't have any objections.
No.
All right. These pits suck. That was hard. I'm content to not check the rest.
Actually, I'll let one of you make a wisdom perception check, but only one of you, because the other one is devoting
Let
their
me-
energies to holding the pit open.
I'll do it since I was the one with the torch,
Yeah,
and he's been rolling awful.
So this is D20 plus your wisdom perception.
10 plus 2, so 12.
Okay.
No, wait. Yeah, 2. Sorry.
Terrible spikes at the bottom of the pit. So you guys over at the plaster door.
I'm gonna go yellow it and take out a trowel and see if I can see how deep this plaster goes into. So I'm gonna see if I can open up this sealed off door.
And you put the trowel there and tap into it. About almost the full length of the trowel, so maybe a good 5 inches or so. But the plaster is very crumbling. When you pull the trowel away, a big chunk of it actually breaks off and clatters to the floor. With a small amount of work, you should be able to just clear this away.
All right.
Was that Treble who rolled that perception check? Because his perception's plus 10 according to the sheet I just looked at.
Yeah, this passive.
It wasn't passive.
No,
it was
this was an active check, because you were peering down in there with your torch.
Oh,
Yeah, I think you got a 20, man. I just checked your sheet. It's plus 10.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to different. I haven't played D&D in a while. I apologize.
On a
So,
20,
yeah.
looking at the bottom of the pit, one of the walls, the western wall of this pit, looks strange, but you're not sure why. It looks like the maybe the stone blocks that form the wall aren't lined up evenly. But before you manage to examine it any closer, before you're able to get that good of a look on it, Jordiebear's not able to hold the door anymore. If you want to chalk the door open, you can do so with some kind of tool, like hammer and knife or a python from a climbing kit would be perfect for this, but it's going to require a DC 15 strength check to do.
Okay. Well, I try and shove a python in there. I'm just gonna. You said we could have pretty much anything,
Yeah, that's fine.
so
It's a DC 15 strength check, and he's not able to aid you with this. Hey, look at that.
Yata.
You little hammer out your climbing kit, you hammer this python down. So now, when you let off the force on the door, it doesn't spring back into place. So now you've got a 30-foot drop into this pit trap with a strange-looking western wall. You guys over at the plaster, what are we doing here?
I keep making a hole.
Okay. Is your
Watch 'em.
intention to clear away all of the plaster?
Enough that I can get a look into it before I look into the room before I clear it away completely.
Okay. Enigma, are you helping him with this?
Yeah, I'll help him with whatever I can. Like, I'll pick away at it with one of my daggers.
Okay. And after a few moments, it becomes apparent that there's something wooden behind the plaster. And after working at it for a few more minutes, you start to uncover what looks like a real door behind the fake plaster door.
Okay. So I clear away enough of the plaster that I can get to the door's locking mechanism.
And it's not
And
locked. Looks like the door will
It's not
open.
locked?
It will open inward from this hallway. And about this time, Bob the Elder finishes the ritual, and there is very powerful magic emanating from this area here with the 3 keystones and this thick veil of fog coming through it. You can't see through the fog, but it and the 3 keystones are very magical indeed. More to the point, my friend, the devil head here, has a very powerful aura of transmutation magic emanating from it. Transmutation magic is a form of magic that transmutes one thing into another, basically.
Would I be able to do, from what I learned from it, would I be able to do an Arcana check to see if anything means in it, any of it means anything to me?
I'll give you a... Yeah, go ahead and make an intelligence Arcana check.
That is a 17 plus 9.
17 plus 9. The demon itself just looks like a relief in the wall. It just looks like decoration. The O-face, you immediately, upon noticing the transmutation magic, thinking back to your studies, is a sphere of annihilation.
Ooh.
We're gonna kill us at Terrace.
And
Well-
that does exactly what you're thinking it does.
I'm really glad I didn't stick my hand in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we ignore the obvious trap.
Because that was actually going to be my. I was about to say I was about to summon my mage hand and stick it in there.
I was about to say erase 10-foot pole off your character sheet and write in 6-foot pole.
That's more appropriate for a gnome anyway. He looks foolish.
Right.
So about this time, the ritual is complete. Bob has revealed the Sphere of Annihilation trap. You guys are done with the pit, and you guys have made good headway clearing away the plaster on the door.
It didn't tell us anything about the colored stones, though, and the keystone, right?
No, you just know it's some sort of powerful magic.
Okay.
Let me see if... I don't think it gives you any more than that.
My vote is
Actually, go ahead and make me an Arcana check for the archway
that.
as well.
Okay. That was a 3, so a 12.
A 12?
Yes.
You don't glean anything magical about the fog. You have no idea what it's for. It might just be to obfuscate view of the room beyond. It might rend the flesh from your skeleton. There's no way of knowing.
Right.